don't have anyone yet.
We can see on playback always.
I know. I'll do a bit of sharing out while we're
Gosh.
waiting.
So if you see anybody, let me know.
Oh, you will.
I hate this bit. This is the bit I hate the most.
Yeah, it is.
Waiting for people to turn up. But they're not usually far behind us.
No. Just do a bit of this. Get it out of the way. Get your toe tucked away. Oh no. Don't do that yet. Don't do that yet. What are you doing, Brad?
I'm singing a song in my head.
Singing a song in your head. Oh, you know, we do have our little favourite, our first one, Eric.
Good evening, Eric. Let me open this screen up a touch. That's a bit. Oh, I can't see. What the hell? My head's massive. There we go. Good evening, Eric. Are we all right? What sort of day we had?
Oh, good.
Oh, right. Oh, no, thanks.
I've never done that. I've not done that bump.
No, okay. Yeah, just practicing now.
No, I would never do that. Let's get this out of the way. Then we can.
Anyway, I shall begin.
Yes.
If we're all sitting comfortably.
Got your drink?
No, I haven't actually. I've got some water. I've got some water. Yes, you heard it.
Are you on a health
kick? Yes, of course. That's funny. Anyway, to begin, what is a poltergeist? Where does the word come from? Well, it comes from the Germanic, and it means rumbling or noisy spirit, a spirit that has the ability to be physical. First account I've got here is the Mackenzie poltergeist. A Scottish judge of the 17th century, nicknamed. I can't pronounce it. It's Bloody. That's the name that's written down there. He imprisoned more than 1,200 people, all Covenanters, and he sent them to Greyfriars. Yeah, in the end, obviously.
Yeah.
And that's where he ended up himself. And it's reputed that he harasses people in Greyfriars searching for his victims. So that's your first account of a poltergeist. It's fascinating. It fascinates me anyway. The more I've looked into it, the more I've got sort of attached, I suppose. I think I might be a poltergeist when I'm done. When I'm through, I'm coming back. I'm not just going to be a spirit. I'm going to make everybody know that I've been here and I'm still here. I didn't see it. Have we got any comments? I didn't see if Eric could have.
Rita. We've got our Robert. Hello, Robert.
Good evening, Robert.
Hi, kids. Thanks, Robert.
Yeah, I like it.
Oh, kiddies. We've got.
I don't know how old he is. He might be older than us. I don't know.
Eric says, "Why do I assume my poltergeist was never human?"
I don't know, because there's no actual mention about poltergeist being demonic. It just literally, it's the German word for noisy spirit, noisy or rumbling spirit. So that pertains to human spirit, basically. I think it's certain cases, like Emily Rose and one or two others that's been dubbed as poltergeist activity. But I don't think they were, personally. I think they were demonic entities that they were on another tangent to this. They were possessions, which we have a show to do. What's the title to that one, Nettie?
What one was that?
Possession.
Oh, yeah, that's a show coming up. Possessions and Exorcisms.
That's the one. Yeah, so that's up and coming, that one. So we'll probably cover Emily Rose and one or two more.
Yeah, that's next Friday.
That next week. So close, you see.
Next
so
week.
We're leading up to it.
We've got Rita there being Norther. Rita's being Norther.
Oh, yeah.
Rita, don't encourage him. Don't. She said, laugh outright. Did I hear you say boobies?
I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't say boobies. I said grey fries. Where did that come from, Rita? What are you thinking?
They're very north, aren't you?
Oh, I know what she's thinking about. I said Bluidies.
Oh.
That was the guy's name. The Mackenzie poltergeist. It was nicknamed that. Why, I don't know. But it's spelled Bluidy.
Oh.
So pronounce it how you like. Right, let me see. After that one, many believe that they're manifestations of a low-level spirit belonging to the 6th class of the 3rd order. What that is, I don't know, but that's what I got from research. So that's what a lot of people believe that poltergeists are. You'll have to look that one up yourselves, but you've got somewhere to look for now. You've got a reference to it.
Yeah.
There's many cases of poltergeist activity, far too many to go into detail. But we've got a few. We've got a few examples. Some of them you might not have heard of. Some of them you will have. There's the Glen Luce Devil. That was from 1654 to 1656. And already I've got a page gone. It's a page gone. Full page. As I say, I've not gone into detail with these because we'd be here all night because they are quite big accounts.
They are. I went through it.
Yeah.
A lot of massive. They're absolutely massive.
Yeah, some of them sort of last a few years. We've got the Drummer of Tedworth, which was in 1662. All these are poltergeist activity. You've got the Mackey poltergeist from 1695. Wesley poltergeist from Epworth Rectory in 1764 to 1771. You've got the Hinton Ampner from 1764 to 1771. Bellwitch, Tennessee. See, so they're all over the world. These accounts from 1817. This is a long account. This from 1817 to 1872. What happens to change these? That's a question, isn't it?
Yeah.
These are accounts that of activity lasting that many years, and then he stopped. So why did they stop? Is the building torn down? Is there something new happened? have they been exercised?
Yeah.
I'll have to have a look at these accounts a little bit in a little bit more detail to see actually why they stopped, or what changed for the accounts to stop. John, no, that can't be right. Okay.
What you're up
I
to,
was going to say the group. Right, I'm going to say group because it sounds like it, but it's not. It says John Bovey Dodds, not John Bond. And that's a long time ago. So he's lived a long time. 1824. And Billing Bells, 1834. Yeah, there's activity abounds, really. And London is in the thick of it. There seems to be more accounts from our capital than anywhere else in the world. Or that's as more documented from London. We've got accounts all over the world, as I said. We've got accounts all over England, all over Britain, but London seems to have its fair share more than anywhere else.
Right, we've got some comments I'll have to put up.
Yeah, go on.
Robert Bloody was his name. And then Rita says, I had to pick on you, Brian. And then we got William. Hello, William.
Good evening, William.
Rita, make it a two-partner. I was having a go at it. You're having a go at it.
Two-partner. What you on about, two-partner?
Robert Fulton, what was the poltergeist that harassed the two policemen?
There's a few accounts of things like that as well. I know of one case from not far from me, a place called Penistone. And it's, well, I'm saying Penistone, that's the official area, but it was Stocksbridge bypass. And the two were reconnoitering, apparently, up on the bypass.
That's a new word for it.
Basically, yeah, they were getting out of the way because it's a secluded spot right up on tops, looking down into an old steel area, steel quarter in Stocksbridge. But a lot of people they still do. They still go up and park up on top there. It's a little lane. But there's the reputed activity from a monk. The thing is, I've investigated up there and I've never found any evidence of a monastery or anything to do with monks. I have found activity from a water tower very, very close to that area. And there is another account of a woman and children dancing round a pylon. That's another theory that I have, that, why people see spirit near high-powered pylons. I've mentioned this before, but as I said, that's not strictly poltergeist activity, but it is spirit.
Yeah,
there is interaction, and apparently this priest was quite violent. He shook the car. He was pushing it from side to side, and he was at one side of the car and disappeared, and then in a flash he was at the other side of the car. And the police were that shook that they wound the windows up and sat tight. They radioed for help. Now then.
Oh.
So that says a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know what they've been drinking or smoking, but that's just conjecture. We can't say that they don't like that, can we? No, we probably didn't. But
Eric says, I think the Bell Witch one has just been done so many times that it's not. No one's doing it anymore. No, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think they become.
Hello, Nigel.
Evening, Nigel. Yeah, I think they do. I think they become a little bit overdone, don't they? It's like hotels. It's like a ride at the fair. You get this particular ride, and it's notorious for chucking people off or whatever. And it's the bee's knees for a while, but then it just it gets overshadowed by something else. So,
Yeah.
but that's what happens. Right. London. We've got quite a few famous ones, famous poltergeists or spirit. They are reputed to be poltergeist activity, which is one from Anne Boleyn.
Yeah.
Another one from Arabella Stewart. Another one, famous Guy Fawkes.
Guy Fawkes, yeah.
And Henry V1, which I don't know, I think that's Henry the Fifth, isn't it, or sixth?
I think it's the 6th that you won.
I'm going to say I'm not good with Roman numerals, so if anybody knows what V1 means, that's the Henry. Anyway, so, and that leads us into the lesser known poltergeist of London. It's the second most documented, but the documents are hard to find, as Nettie will attest to. But we're not going to be talking about the Enfield poltergeist because that, like Eric says, that's been done to death. But we have another account of a lesser known. What's that?
Eric said 6.
Okay.
Not sure what that means, Eric.
No, I'm not sure what that means either. But there you go. Yes, go on, Nettie. Take it away. The Battersea poltergeist.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone's ever heard of it or not, but Battersea poltergeist. It was number 63 Wycliffe Road, London, and it involved the Hitchens family. The first occurrences started with a key that was left on a pillow, and it didn't match any of the locks in the house. The second occurrences started with noises in the night that sounded like the Blitz. Neighbours were actually complaining that the noise was so bad. The noises continued through the nights for weeks, and the family were sleep deprived. It got so bad that the police and the surveyors were called in, but they couldn't find where anything was coming from. So after all, the theory became that it was a poltergeist that they decided to name Donald. It was set.
What was his surname?
What?
What was his surname?
They never said. This is where the Prince of London is going to come into it very shortly.
Okay.
There was a thing in. Anyway, the activity was centered around young Shirley, but it wasn't just in the house. It would actually follow her to work and cause trouble for her there as well. No one would come near her because of what was going on. So she was sort of secluded. It had a sort of secluded, so she'd have to stay at home because she couldn't take it to work with you, can you? So it sort of cut her off. Yeah, sort of cut her off, so she was just basically in the house.
And who was this? Shirley what?
She was called Shirley Hitchens.
Right.
Shirley Hitchens, she was called.
See, this is typical of what happens with poltergeist activity. It consumes the people involved that's closest to these happenings. But obviously, anybody outside the environment's got no idea what's going off.
Yeah.
But they react to a change in personality in the people that's involved. So,
yeah,
go on, listen.
Yeah. We've got a few. We'll do through these. William, so we're talking poltergeist tonight then. Yes, William.
We are, yeah.
Yeah.
You have to watch it on catch up. We've already gone through a few.
The 6 with Eric's V1.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway.
So it is Henry VI. Right, go on.
It got so bad in 1956, it began to draw a lot of press attention. And it was even spoken about in the House of Commons. It got so bad.
Yeah.
In the end, they ended up having an investigator called Harry Chibbett was drawn into the case, he was well known and well connected to Arthur Conan Doyle, Harry Price, the investigator, Arthur C. Clarke, and Aleister Crowley.
Wow.
So he had all them connections before he went.
He
actually virtually moved into that house. He made it his.
What surprises me with this, again, I'm learning through doing research for all these different shows that we do, that these people that you've just mentioned, they seem to come together for quite a few cases in this year. I mean, the last time we mentioned them were only other week, as in the Cottingley Fairies.
Yeah, and they were all involved in that one.
Yeah, they were all involved in that one. They've been involved in this one, so it'll be interesting to see how many more cases.
It's like a circle, isn't it, with them, you know?
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see how many other cases to do with paranormal they end up being involved with. In fact, it might be worthwhile researching them. In fact, I'm going to research these people and see what other cases they were involved in.
Oh yeah, I bet there was loads. There have to be.
Yeah, definitely.
Has to be loads. It's just sort of hitting on the cases, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where it actually pops up.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Yeah, that's why I'm only just realizing how many cases they've been involved in together.
Yeah, well, they've popped up an awful lot, haven't they, over the last?
Yeah, they have been.
Over the last few weeks.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Chibbett actually made a book about the case, but he never published it. It was never published in his lifetime. From this point onwards, Donald's a poltergeist presence was becoming increasingly violent as time went on. Rooms were trashed, spontaneous fires. There was writings and crosses and fleur-de-lis appeared on the walls.
All right. Is there any connection to it? Is there a French connection at all?
It's coming. It's coming.
You see, I'm on it.
I've done my research, you know.
Good.
Yeah, exorcisms were attempted, and police would actually come and call at the house to see if the family was okay.
Wow.
It was totally ongoing all the time. The family learned to communicate with the poltergeist by using yes or no cards and tappings. Strangely enough, a letter from Donald in May 1956 identified himself as Louis Chalac.
Ah, sure.
The short-lived Louis XV11 of France. That's who he identified himself as.
Right.
It's supposed to be rumored to have escaped captivity during the French Revolution, rather than dying a prisoner, aged 10, which was later proved to have been correct.
Wow.
So he never died in France.
He escaped. I thought I recognized that name, Shellac. Haven't that name's? I'm sure that name's being used as a detective, a type of detective from the time of aristocracy, 1600s, 1500s, 1600s, I think. I'm sure I've heard that name used. You know what they call him now? The guy that helped a lot escape. He was an aristocrat himself, but he disguised himself all the time to fool.
I have heard the name. The name.
I'm sure that's being used. I'm sure it's being used. But that's a young age, is that? I wouldn't have put it to that. 10-year-old?
Yeah, that's when he was supposed to have died in the prison.
Wow.
But he reckoned he didn't die in the prison. And it was later proved to be a fact that he never did.
Yeah. Well,
so he escaped from the prison. There's a few things here now. Robert says, yes, Bri, there was key people.
Yeah.
It's like, Robert, it's like the path problem along.
Yeah.
Tim Smith, I'll be watching later on catch up. Okay, Tim.
No worries, Philip.
Robert, you never heard about ectoplasm anymore. No, you don't. We did that.
Yeah.
Victorian.
I'd like to know when that word were actually implemented, because it's not being bandied about a great deal. The biggest use of it is in the film. Ghostbusters. It seems to have been used in that more than anything else. Up to that, I don't think I'd heard that term. So it'd be interesting to find out when it first appeared.
And it says Shirley left the house in 1965. When the presence was waning, and in 1968 he disappeared altogether and was gone for good.
Yeah, you see, this is what I'm saying about poltergeist activity. It seems to be they burn themselves out, unlike a normal spirit that can hang about for years and years and years.
Hello, Charles.
Evening, Charles. Evening, fella. Hope you're well. Yeah, so why is that? Why do they seem to be so strong in presence, but it seems to be fleeting? It's like a bright bulb; it burns itself out, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe that's a factor that they use all their energy.
Yeah.
Till they can't muster anymore, and then just disappear. Maybe they're still there, but they're just not powerful enough to do anything. Don't know.
Yeah, they just seem to tape off, don't they?
Yeah.
Anyway, the original house was demolished in 1960s and was never rebuilt on again.
It'd be interesting to find out what is there, and if anybody hears or sees anything, won't it?
Yeah, it's supposed to be. Well, it said it was never rebuilt or never replaced, so maybe it's just an empty plot now.
Yeah,
could be.
But just like hotels, I mean, Regent's Park, the sightings in Regent's Park, but there was things about around the edges. That's not there anymore. They've been swallowed up by park, which is unusual, actually. It's usually the other way around, isn't it?
Yeah.
But and that's another anomaly. In London, yeah, green spaces seem to appear rather than disappear.
Yeah, strangely enough.
Yeah.
Strangely.
What's that? There's a film made of it as well, and it's based on a true story. That bloke that he was living in a shack, Hampstead Heath. I believe that's in middle of London, but it's still classed as a heath and everything, and it's a throwback to ancient woodland. And he lived in it that long that he sort of claimed squatters' rights and claimed it in his own right.
Yeah.
Managed to claim it. So that's an interesting story. But that's not to do with poltergeist, so we'll shut up about that one. Have you got anything else?
Yeah, we do. We've got the Thornton Heath poltergeist in 1970, and that was in Croydon. Known for its macabre history and dark past, the first settlement in Croydon was in the 6th century. This is where 34-year-old Alma Fielding, who lived with her husband and son. And it was the first of a 4-year-long presence. First occurrence was being woken up by a radio blasting from a strange foreign station that they didn't know anything about.
And this was from when?
1970.
Right.
In Croydon. This is in Croydon.
Wow.
Following after that, the following nights, lamps and ornaments were being tampered with by unseen hands. In 1972, things got physical when the husband was hit in the forehead by a flying figurine. and it hit him so hard that he collapsed.
Yeah.
Come the Christmas end, the tree began to rise and shake violently. On the New Year, family would hear footsteps through going through all the bedrooms and up and down the stairs. And the son was woken one night by an angry, tall-looking man dressed in old-fashioned clothes. Doors would shake and rattle, and witnesses were guests in the house at the time when this happened. It's also they realised at this time that things had got totally out of control, so they got hold of the church, and they sent someone around to do a blessing, but it only made things worse. Family then would put in touch with a medium to find out the cause of the haunting. The medium was able to deduce that the entity was actually a dead farmer by the name of Chatterton. This Chatterton character was angry at the family because he considered them to be trespassers in his house. Not only that, but after the clairvoyant come in, the medium, they also started to see the farmer's wife, which would follow the wife round as well. Every time she turned round, she could feel her behind her. When she turned round, she could see her.
Wow.
After 4 years of putting up with that, the family decided to throw in the towel and leave. Once they left,
I don't think I'd put up with it for that long.
no, I wouldn't either. Once they left, it just seemed to stop.
Yeah. Yeah, that's invariable. What seems to happen, like I said, with poltergeist activity, rather than it just being spirit. It's interesting to know when something goes from being a spirit, mischievous or otherwise, and escalate to that term poltergeist. What sort of, I wonder what that nth degree is, from being a spirit, mischievous or otherwise, to being a poltergeist.
Getting to that point, yeah.
It's that level of violence, isn't it, or whatever.
Maybe it's just total frustration.
I don't know what it is, but what determines it a poltergeist other than just a normal spirit? Because I've come across spirit before that's been mischievous, but what's that? Is it throwing a stone? Is it moving objects? Is it, literally being an annoyance that you can't sleep? What determines it? I don't know.
Well, that's what the sensitives do, isn't it? They drive them crazy, don't they?
Yeah, definitely.
But then again, if you think about it, if they need energy, they're not really. There's not a lot of cases, is there, where they're sort of really harmed physically, because that would be no use to a poltergeist, would it? If it needs to live off fear and energy, because it'd have to keep you there, wouldn't it?
That's the same with any spirit, really. And this is where the differences come from it being a spirit to a poltergeist to demonic activity. Because that side of things, which we'll talk about in another episode, but that just goes into contracts and it being physical to a level of possession.
Yeah.
So there's varying nth degrees to every type of haunting. I find it interesting in that respect as well. But there's also, from the 70s to 80s, a massive increase in so-called poltergeist activity. Now, I can give you the reason for that, because it coincides with something else that happened at the beginning of the 70s. Which was a case of mistaken identity. Not a lot. I've come to realise this, and I've formulated this hypotheses. Oh, I say. So yeah, now I'll come to that. But before that, is there any questions? Got any comments?
We have Eric. That's what Eric's going to say. Frustration. And we've got Robert. We had one in our town, was on the telehouse, was empty, was coloured lights flashing every night like they were having a party. Got a medium in and said was about 10 ghosts in the house.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, and Eric says, ooh, big word. Oh, yeah, Eric.
It was a big word, yes. But I nearly started talking like that, you know.
This Jaguar's doing it.
Yeah, just Jaguar nearly came through then. Oh,
Oh,
but, I was nearly possessed, you know. But anyway, yeah, my reasoning for the increase, and it actually involves flashing lights as well, as strange as it may sound, because 1970 and 71 started the onset of amateur radio. Rather than shortwave, which has been around for a long, long time, this was citizens band radio. So like the 10-4 Good Buddy stuff, you know, Convoy and all that. We adopted the American frequencies, which was AM, amplitude modulation, which to use that effectively meant that you had to have amplifiers. The downside to it, due to our frequencies that what we use, which is different to America, because we use 340 volts, for example. They only use 110. Big difference in frequency. So that meant that the equipment that we were using and adapting on their frequencies had a lot more power. It was causing things like anything that resembled a diaphragm to sometimes jam jars, even, you know, something with a crystal content, amplified the audio from the equipment. So we started to get little old ladies ringing police saying, there's somebody in my fridge. because as soon as they opened the fridge door, they could hear people talking. They thought they were going crackers. But there was also a lot of cases where they thought it was spirit, they were poltergeists, because they couldn't get handling it in their head. People had not come across this phenomena before. It turns out that that's the reason for it. There was a lot of interference from CB radios coming through equipment, shall we say. Right. Other equipment other than it being a radio. So you wouldn't expect it. You wouldn't expect when you turn your telly off at night to go to bed, your telly carries on talking because it's coming through speakers from next door. You know, there was so much of an increase in this sort of activity. It turned out, as I say, it was that. So much so, and it was recognised in the end that the telecom service, or can't remember, GPO, I think it were, decided to go twofold with this one. They changed the frequency, the allotted frequency, to FM, frequency modulation, which stopped all that overnight. And it's also given them an opportunity to produce a license. So you had to buy a license as well. So they jumped on it, you know what I'm saying? But it did stop it because frequency modulation, it's easier controlled. You don't need half the power. So it stopped the spillage frequency-wise.
Yeah.
And things calmed down again in the 80s. So for that decade.
Yeah.
What's he say, Robert?
But wasn't the house was tenements there before? Well,
I don't know. I don't know what it's pertaining to, that one.
We've got Rita. Eric's always. And then she says,
oh, no, I can't believe that, Rita. Never.
I'm sure you thought him out. I'm sure you thought him out, Rita. And Charles says, I can't say big old words either.
No, I have problems. I did well there, definitely. I got a sweat on when I said it.
You've been doing
Yeah.
elocution lessons, haven't you, on the quiet? That's
Mm, that's-
very, very
but that brings us full circle back to True Poltergeist, and as I say, London has got its fair share. Many
Yeah.
cases in London, like the Ghost of Kennington Loop. I found that one interesting, so I read it and I wrote it down for you. So it's about a train. There's quite a lot on the London Underground.
Oh, yeah.
Seems to be, and it's a Kennington, a train emptying of all its passengers at a terminus, and then it continues on a loop rather than going backwards like they do today. It went on a loop.
Yeah.
Round to turn round to go other way back to continue its return journey. And on the terminus, on the loop, drivers reported hearing slamming of carriage doors all the way down the line. It's thought that it was possibly a worker from the 1950s who was electrocuted on the loop.
Yeah.
So became a poltergeist activity. Probably something similar to Ghost. Is it? Yeah, Ghost. When he's trying to find somebody to listen to him, and he ends up finding Whoopi. But he gets on that train, and there's a ghost on that train. There's a poltergeist on that train that sort of tries to kick him off. That's the thoughts I got when I was reading it. I thought, ooh, I bet that's a bit spooky.
Yeah.
When you're only one on train, possibly you and maybe a conductor.
Yeah.
Because I dare say, if I were a conductor, I'd be making sure I weren't cabin with driver.
Well, a lot more people pass away on trains than actual people think.
Yeah, well, exactly. And there was a lot of drivers apparently refused to do that loop. So I think they ended up having one particular driver that would get on the train, and that's all he did. Well, take train route loop, then get off for new other driver. I'm not sure, but I think that's what happened.
Yeah.
And it brings me to my last account, which is in 1987. That's the youngest sort of case that I could find. And that, again, is to do with a train terminus. It's called The Disaster. In 1987, a fire under an escalator. It claimed 31 victims, and there were a lot more injured as well. So how come I ain't heard of that personally? I don't know. You would have expected it to be on news. But 87, good news coverage in 87.
Well, you would expect it to be, wouldn't you? Yeah.
Yeah, I had to research it. So, amongst all the victims was an inconsolable young woman. She's seen to be seeking help in King's Cross. That's the station, King's Cross Station. She gets seen quite regular, like looking like she's in distress, looking for help, shouting for help, basically, and then just disappears.
Yeah.
Was it? Right. I never saw it. I never saw it, Robert. So you probably know more about that one than me, but that is a continuing one to this day. So that's a long standing. So, and she's not doing anything nasty, really, is she? So maybe that goes along with what we were saying about the more violent a spirit seems to be, the shorter lived it seems to be.
Yeah, sort of burnout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She does interact with people, so it's classed as a poltergeist activity, but she's not violent. She's just
Yeah.
seeking help. So maybe that's the reason why she still exists today.
Quite possible, yeah.
Because that's quite a few years, isn't it? Quite a
That
few years.
is a good few years, yeah.
Yeah. And that is my account. And I thought we'd have shitloads, but we've got through them all.
Eric says, I think he heard the King's Cross one before.
Right. Well, again, you've done well then, because I weren't aware on it until I read it, got that right up. I should have wrote a few more down, shouldn't I?
I've got another one, and that's back from Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Go on, carry on.
He shared his home with a poltergeist that would move all his scripts around the house and met him around. And eventually called a priest to bless the house, and it left, basically. That's that one, because there wasn't a lot on it.
And what year does that?
It's not even put a year up on it. It was just an account, and all I could do is having another look. I've tried to look for it, but I couldn't find it.
Yeah, I was trying to find the latest ones type of thing, and that King's Cross was the newest account I could find.
Yeah,
personally, I'm sure there is more.
Oh yeah, there would be. Probably, but sometimes you don't get a lot on the internet. I'll get some books and see what of the older one.
Yeah, I'm sure we will do the topic again, definitely.
Yeah,
because it is fascinating, and there were a lot of accounts. I just thought that there were that many, and what we wrote, I thought we'd have enough, but
we never got enough. We need more.
As usual, we've got through them. But saying that, we have more or less stuck to topic, haven't we? So we intend to go down too many rabbit holes.
No, we haven't, have we?
We've done well.
Yeah,
very well.
Yeah, I think a lot of what goes on in London. I mean, you have to take its past history into context as well, though, don't you?
Yeah.
With everything, because everything that went on there. I mean, there's all sorts, wasn't there? Really, it's not just.
Yeah, I should have wrote down the famous ones, like I said, Anne Boleyn, Guy Fawkes, and the rest. I think there are about 5 accounts there. Oh, Henry VI, but I didn't. I just jotted them down as people of note, basically.
Yeah, I think the Tower of London with Guy Fawkes. Supposedly you can hear screaming from the White Tower.
Yeah, I wonder if Anne Boleyn were gaining some stick. Probably different here, isn't it? Same with Henry. But I do find it fascinating. What does
the account of Anne Boleyn? It was a sighting in 1864 by a guard, and he actually went to stick up with his bayonet and went right through her. In fact, he fainted.
I think he did.
Yeah,
I don't think I'd have had guts. If in that era, would you have had guts to approach your queen?
No, no.
Exactly. Head locked up, didn't you?
Head locked. Yeah, you're gone. You're gone.
There's a lot of accounts in that era as well. There seems to be in 1700s and 1800s. Seems to be the combination of poltergeist activity worldwide. Has anybody?
Robert saying just waiting on the Queen at tomorrow. It'll come. It'll come. Somebody will have her.
Anybody else got any accounts that can enlighten us with? Is there any famous accounts where you are, Eric, or Robert? And I'm nearly sure Robert's told us where he's from before, but I can't remember.
No, can't remember. Can't remember.
some noisy people outside my house.
It's very quiet here today.
I think it's them across from me that's saying a Barbie garden again.
Oh yeah, I've gone from Robert. Miners have weird tails.
Yes,
You should
they
imagine.
do.
So
Yeah.
that'd be a
In
very
fact-
interesting one to look into. That.
Yeah, in fact, I forgot about that one entirely. It just reminded me. Famous film, Quatermass and the Pit.
Oh yeah.
That's based on some activity of some kind in an old underground. Can't remember which one it is, but it's in London somewhere. Should have actually tried to find that one.
Rita says for where she is, Bellwitch is closest one.
Yeah. But as you say, it's been done to death. But I didn't read up on it, as I said. I just had it down.
Yeah.
Tennessee, that one, isn't it? So
Well, you've probably done what I've done today. You've gone off on tangent and just started reading something and then you disappeared.
yeah, just as in our defence, folks, we do have a few shows that we're doing now rather than just one. So as you can appreciate, it takes some doing to research it and then retain it, especially in this with my grey cells. I've lost loads, you know. It's quite difficult sometimes, but yeah, I've got 3 shows this week.
Oh yeah, you're on Tuesday as well.
You can feel sorry for me. In fact, I don't know. Are you on with who's on with me again? I can't remember who's on with me.
I don't know. We'll have to ask Eric.
Yeah,
I know.
who's on with me, Eric? Are you on with me, Eric?
I'm
I
sure
don't
it's
know.
Eric.
And I don't know. I can't remember what subject is again.
Charles says, I personally stay away from the subjects of this one.
Right. Any particular reason, Charles? I think it's the name, isn't it? I think that scares a lot of people. It puts people off. I just tend to look at it as boisterous spirit. That's the way I look at a poltergeist. It's a boisterous spirit.
Yeah.
Somebody that's not exactly quite unsavory sometimes.
It's strange though, isn't it, as well? That
What?
they all seem to be centered on like family homes. Or most accounts that you read.
No, I don't know, because like I've said, if you look at underground, and I think maybe that is as well why it's the word poltergeist seems to have people feel it has a darker meaning when it doesn't actually. It's just from Germanic, meaning noisy spirit. So I think it's one of them things that's been lost in translation.
Yeah, definitely. Probably. Throughout time, yeah.
But I don't see it as that at all. I just see it as it is noisy spirit.
Oh, Charles said it's just pure evil.
Yeah, you see, this is what that's a perfect example. That is a perfect example of a word getting turned around, because its actual real meaning is Germanic for spirit, rumbling spirit, noisy spirit. That's its actual meaning.
Robert says a ghost that has progressed to the next level before a demon.
Again, I can understand why people think that, because they're not agreeable spirits. It's as simple as that. They're not.
No.
But that happens in life, doesn't it? You know what I mean? Some people are nice and some people are just nasty buggers. So,
well, don't say that as in life, as in death.
Yes,
change.
Precisely.
Yeah.
The one thing that we can take comfort from, if you look at all the cases, is simply this: that poltergeist activity seems to be short-lived.
Yeah.
Really, very, very rarely. In fact, I haven't come across a case yet that seems to persist for eternity, type of thing. It's short-lived. So,
no, I think one of the longest ones was that one I said earlier.
Yeah. But again, the nasty ones, very short-lived. So it's that energy burst
Yeah.
for me that separates the man from the boys type of thing. They put so much energy, this spirit puts so much energy into being disruptive.
Yeah.
It can't keep going.
No. Eric says, I think people jump to the demon word too fast.
Yes, I totally agree with you, Eric. Totally. But it's understandable, like I've said, if people are not in the field as an investigator, it's easy to do that, isn't it? I mean, most people are going to get scared. Even investigators get scared. If they don't, they're lying. I'll tell you now, they're lying because you do. You can get hackles. Your hair can stand up on end. I mean, these are all states of fear.
Oh,
at
yeah.
end of the day.
Robert said the ghost on Blackpool Ghost Train.
Yeah, and there's supposed to be one on the one
Yeah.
at Alton Towers as well. But again, unless you're susceptible to fear, unless you've got a nervous disposition, it ain't gonna kill you.
No.
It's all mind of a matter.
Yeah.
Every case is mind of a matter. They can chuck objects, they can do whatever they want. They never seem to, very, very rarely, seem to hit a person.
No, it's like on the odd occasion, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe that's when it's thrown, someone bloody walks in front of it.
No, but the odd occasion seems to be the ones that's faked.
Yeah.
So again, the actual spirit's getting blamed for something that someone else in life's done.
Yeah, because really, like I said, it's not for its interest, is it?
No.
Because it needs you.
Yeah, they're trying to get your attention for something. They want to tell the story.
It's not going to want to drive it away. It needs you, is it?
No. Sometimes some people get frustrated and nasty about it. They're going to do. If somebody's not listening to you and wanting to get your point across, listen to me. Well, you are, aren't you? You know what I mean? Not all spirits are amenable. They're not all Caspers.
No. Definitely not.
No, exactly. So these things happen. It's an interesting subject, and I think it needs to be addressed that poltergeist activity does not mean demonic. It simply means the disruptive.
Yeah.
They can be an angry spirit. They can be angry, but they can't kill you. They're not gonna hurt you. They're not demonic. For me, what the big difference between demonic or lower entities, if you want to call them that, and human origin is there's a contract involved, and that contract is fear. If you acknowledge, a bit like this Beetlejuice thing, if you acknowledge in your head a name and you say it again and again, you're actually playing into their hands.
Yeah.
And you're entering into a contract, and then you leave yourself open for possession and things like that, which we will be talking about next week.
Yeah, I'm just going to mention that now. Yeah, we've got 8 p.m. Friday. We've got possessions and exorcisms, and following Sunday, this show we've got history of divination on 7 o'clock.
Yep.
So, and we'll do the readout now for the shows.
Yeah. Is there any comments before you do it?
Let's take a look. No. Oh, Rita just said great show. Thank you, Rita.
As always, thank you. Yeah, definitely. Wait for you guys. We won't have one. Right.
So on Monday, the shows for this week, every week, is the Monday Dark Mirror radio show with Josh, Wayne, and Mark. Tuesday, Simply Spooky, it's a Jar of Doom, and with various hosts, of which you're one, aren't you, this week, Brian?
Thanks. Yeah, you didn't tell me that, have you? Go on.
Wednesday is Simply Spooky with a guest with Viv, Dan, and Eric. Thursday is The Weird Room with Tim, Eric, and Dan. It's Friday, Freaky Friday, with me, Bri, and Ian. Saturday is Metaphysical Insights with William. And Sunday, we're back here with me and Bri, and sometimes Ian. And we have hit the hour. So we've got to say goodbye.
Farewell, I'll be to saying goodbye.
So good night, folks, and thank you for joining us. And we'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.
Hopefully.